now. And I am just delighted that we have such a relationship with the Pasco County Sheriff's Department that they can bring us timely information. We actually had this scheduled back in, oh, Brian, when was
January,
it?
January.
January.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we had to cancel all of our events. This was supposed to be live and in person. We were supposed to be eating great food. But as with everybody, we have to adapt and change to the ever changing environment around us. So
Absolutely.
We are delighted to have Bryan with us. He is the corporal of, and I'll let him explain his exact title, because I think it's very cool that Pasco County has this whole department to help us as businesses, help you guys as hospitality workers, and all of the different facets of protecting your business. So I am going to turn it over to you, my friend, Bryan.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm sorry, Hope.
Melissa's here too.
Thank you. So we did meet back in January. I met you from my relationship with Melissa at Mr. Electric. And she put me in touch with Hope and Susan Joyner, who was very helpful in working out some glitches to get this up and running, and just some registration issues. So the Business Crime Prevention Program the Sheriff's Office has been in existence for about maybe a year, about 2 years. And the goal of the program is to align the business interests of the business owners in the county with that of the Sheriff's Office. You guys contribute to the economic growth and development of the county. We're here as a law enforcement body. And so somewhere along the lines, we want to see you guys be successful. You guys want to see us be successful. And so we look at what we need to do as an organization to align interests and guarantee a more what's the word? Guarantee your success in that of ours as well. We do partner with various chambers, networking groups, the EDC, and the conversation always centers around how we can get businesses to do well, specifically where crime's related, right? So what can we do to help you guys be successful? What are the challenges you're having? What are the trends we're seeing? For example, if we're experiencing a particular trend on the west side of the county, how does a business owner on the east side know that, right? So is there value to the information we're getting, and how can that help to mitigate victimization in a nutshell? And it's evolving. It'll always be evolving so long as I'm a part of it, because it's just my onward pursuit. We never really score. We're just learning how to do things better. As Hope said earlier, adapting to the ever-changing environment and terrain. I.e., we have a Zoom meeting, and that's how business is being done during this period of time. So in a nutshell, that's the program. And relative to the hospitality and industry and the restaurants as such, well, even before I go there, so we deal with a lot of people in this capacity as deputy sheriffs, and I never take it for granted when I get the opportunity to talk to people who contribute to the growth of the county. Right? There's accidents and some undesirables in the county, and they're here to victimize. And where you guys are establishing and doing business, they're there to rob and to steal and to walk in and walk out with merchandise they didn't pay for, and conduct all manner of illicit activities at the hotels and at the restaurants. That's just the nature of doing business. That's I'm sure there's a margin for that. It comes with the territory, right? You can't have, they say the wheat and the tears have to go together until they harvest. They just kind of go together. But nonetheless, I'm grateful for you guys and what you do. I live here, I work here. So again, any opportunity to partner with Melissa, with Hope, with anybody to better articulate our collective future as a county and as a body, I'm happy to be a part of that. All right. So what do we do? So it's myself, it's Director Keller, and we have 2 other positions as well. And it involves coming out to your business, the hotels, if that be, or pretty much anybody. Currently, there are 145 businesses registered with the program. And what are they looking for? Everything. What do we offer? Training on verbal de-escalation, conflict resolution for staff, where appropriate. Addressing issues preemptively on the front end to mitigate any loss, right? So you guys are in this to make money. You're in this to provide a service. And so long as you're doing well, again, we're doing well. And so the sheriff's office wants to get ahead of the curve. A deputy is going to come out and investigate a crime should something happen. Absolutely. We're going to be there at any hour of the day. But how can we address issues preemptively, right? So let's look at your business, the location of it, its location in relation to other businesses. Let's look at who's visiting your business. Let's look at your staff again, issues you're having, and how the sheriff's office can address those issues. It's a thing. So I've never been a business owner. You guys are, and there are things that you see through your particular lens. I've been a deputy sheriff for some time, and there are things that I see through my lens. And so, let's come out and have a look at your property and walk around it after dark to see what that looks like and the factors that could potentially contribute to victimization of yourself or the patrons that are at the business, right? Let's look at things even in the construction and development stages. One partner over off of Little Road had us come out to look at just the layout of the property, right? So how are the hedges and the bushes, a SEPTED survey it's called, how does that contribute to crime? Your camera placement, right? So these are things that before my time or even presently, I'm not seeing them addressed, but just thinking long-term, the Brian Banner's 1,000-year plan, just for the county, it's at the inception or at the design phase of your business, or even if you've been up and running for 20, 30 years, right? How can we do things better, right? How can we get together and sit down and discuss the issues you're having and put that LEI on it, up to and including staff training to help your business be successful? That's the pitch. Are there things that you're doing as a business owner that are complicit in your own demise, right? So maybe as you know things and as you see them, it might not be the best way of doing business moving forward. And so let's look at that and how that can be addressed. What else? The crime prevention tips and emails, as I mentioned earlier, relative to, let's say, Franklin Jewelers, who we had some guys in their case in the place, and same suspects were over at Kiefer's days or hours or weeks later, casing as well. How do those two businesses communicate? How do they know what's going on? Absent of, there's a chance they might intersect, but the fact that the sheriff's office is that repository, that hub for crime and the activity throughout the county in that regard, let's put those two businesses in communication in form of this program so they can take measures to safeguard and protect themselves, right? That at the core is the value of it. This COVID thing, we had a guy in Georgia who had to don the mask and had a shirt on and went into Home Depot and loaded up a cart, walked out with merchandise. How do we communicate that intel to Lowe's and Home Depot here in Pasco County so that they can take measures? Go ahead. You're gonna. Oh, you're muted. Okay. How do we provide them that information so they can take measures to safeguard and protect themselves against loss of property, liability, and staff getting hurt? How can we address those issues preemptively? The security assessment I mentioned, we're in the plans of putting together a seminar, a crime prevention seminar. And my vision for that is sort of a networking session to address trends we're seeing. We have business owners here, and I applaud them. They do take a more proactive, larger scale sense of responsibility for their business. And I'm in conversation with them about things they can do to layer their security. And some of it's kind of far out, and you're like, well, man, why would I do that? Or why would I want to do that? Well, because criminals are creative, right? They're very creative and they're ever adapting, and law enforcement is seeking to take a more proactive approach rather than, hey, 911 and we're there to respond and to kind of clean up the mess. Let's look at how we can empower citizens through information and intel, our business owners, again, so they can layer their security and mitigate victimization. The verbal de-escalation conflict management resolution is kind of my forte. We're all people, and you guys are owners or operators or managers, and you deal with people, and people come with issues. You hire them, and you hire their issues, and that's coming to work as well. What are the tools and resources we can provide them to better interact with your customers, right? To improve revenue and just to improve and to build your brand, whatever that brand is. How can we mitigate that? How can we help that? And it's a parallel training that I provide at the academy level, at the police academy, and also for new hires internally at the agency. This is training that's available to deputies, and it's available to you guys as well. So that's the program in a nutshell. What I would need from you guys is conversation, is relationship. It bodes well for me as a deputy. It bodes well for you as a business owner, and just a long-term projected plan. All right.
So what we're going to do now is I'm going to unpin you from being the front and center so that we can have people ask questions. Tell me what the name of the program is, because I'm taking notes and I want to make sure that I articulate it very well.
It is the Business Crime Prevention Program.
Business Crime Prevention. And it's a program that businesses can sign up for, to be part of?
It is completely free of charge. You can sign up online. I'll be more happier to come by and do a presentation. It's just the information is the basic pedigree information of your business, the name of the business, the location, the owner, the address, a phone number. It's useful, again, on the patrol side of the house. If you do have a crime at your business late at night, oftentimes patrol deputies have difficulty getting in contact with a decision maker regarding the break-in. So it's beneficial in that way as well. But that's it.
So one of the things that you mentioned in the chamber is a connector. And so is there, I know you guys serve as a repository for this information, but if there are things that are happening within, whether it's hotels or restaurants that you're seeing, can that information be disseminated to the chamber and then we could get it out to our members?
Depending on the nature of the information and the sensitivity of it, so long as it doesn't impede or compromise an ongoing investigation,
sure,
that information will be disseminated. Nick's on the call as well, and so is Jason. I don't foresee them having an issue with that. By way of intel sharing, though, there is also the Business Crime Prevention Facebook page, which puts business owners in touch with other business owners, and it's how we get that information out there quickly regarding whatever we may be experiencing in the county from which you guys can benefit from.
So I want to tip it over to Melissa. I know she's multitasking, but Melissa is the one that introduced us because
Right.
she is, her business has utilized this service and she thought very highly of it and thought it was something that we could share with all of our members. So Melissa, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about your experience in what you guys have been doing together.
Absolutely. So when I initially met Bryan, it was at a marketing meeting. It was great. I asked him if it was possible that he could come out and we could film. And just a quick little film about camera placement. And that turned into a great, I would say, friendship. But with all of it, though, when we decided to install a security system at our office, you know, we had the conversation of what's a good placement? You know, do I look at above, below, high, low, you know, all of those things. So he was able to articulate some great information. But he's also been a catalyst in the community because he came to me when, hey, I need some additional businesses to give additional shout outs to for when the whole market period happened with restaurants. So I jumped on, I think, with you, Hope, and I said, hey, what are some great businesses that could need additional attention? And, you know, it goes both ways, really, honestly. It's
partnership. Right.
Exactly. And what's really even funny, notes to him, Bryan, when we put our camera outside, the sheriff's office is driving in our community quite frequently. Actually, it's kind of funny. So besides that, I don't know if you know, was additional things that happened in the area, but hey, I welcome that presence.
Thank you. So we have a lot more hotels now in our community than we ever had before. And those tend to draw all types of different kinds of crime. Can you speak a little bit to that? And then I'll let some of our hoteliers ask some questions about that.
It's the nature of the business, the hospitality. You got in a hotel, and all sorts of people are going to visit. They're traveling through, passing through town or vacationing. Lord hates the day when Pasco County is a place to be, right? We'll all be doing better economically. But it does lend itself primarily based on some stats I got from RLP section to theft and warrants and ag assault, ag batteries, assaults and batteries. There's not much I can really say about that. Whether it's theft from the vehicles, for example, or from the rooms, maybe staff, even And with that said, I've done training for construction sites, kind of just preemptively. They hire sort of subcontractors who were stealing from the location. So some thought was given to, well, hey, it's not just theft from random people throughout the community. It's actually internal. As a manager or as an owner of the hotel, some consideration or thought should probably be given to that. And that's the benefit of the partnership, letting your employees know that, hey, it's the hotel, but it's also the sheriff's office, that we're working cohesively together, right? And anyone who commits a crime will be prosecuted and will be arrested, justifiably so. And that's just, it's a better Pasco. The placement of the cameras Melissa mentioned, same thing with the hotels. We come out, we're doing investigations, and a lot of times cameras are placed in random spots, not the best to capture activity, right? Or not the best, just strategic location for a camera. And so we're looking at footage, and sometimes it's useless. It's absolutely useless. And so thousands of dollars have been spent on a system that doesn't help to prosecute a criminal. It doesn't aid in the investigation. It doesn't help in the recoup of costs or identifying a would-be criminal. So that's where these little things are very, very, very important.
Any of our hoteliers, Lisa or Bobby, want to speak to this? Have you done it in your hotel?
So that would definitely be something I'd be interested in. I know that being in this area for 28 years and being in the hotel business around here, that, breaking into cars is a big thing. And of course, most of the hotels do not have security cameras in their parking lots. So I think that would really be helpful to us. And also, we did have a couple of Pasco County police officers come in and ask a couple of times about, certain people that we haven't seen. Is there some way that we can get a list to keep on our board in the back, so our front desk is aware of who's out there that is not a good person?
The release of that information is something that I'd have to kind of get back to you on, because again, so there are persons of interest throughout the county and throughout the state that you might be looking for. And so long as a posting of a picture or the sharing of intel doesn't compromise an investigation, I'm sure we'll be happy to share that.
Okay.
No indictment on anybody that works for the hotel or your front desk staff, but you have to understand, information is key. And so if a subject kind of just catches wind that we're looking for them, well, you see how that can kind of set us back. So it really depends on, right.
Yep.
Right.
Bobby, do you have any questions or comments with your location?
No, we obviously we do take into consideration. We look at every individual when they come in, and you kind of just look for their cues when they're checking in. We've had a couple incidents where Pasco has been called, but that mainly came from the guest that was in the room, not from us.
And I know that there is a non-emergency line for our local patrol, Bryan. That it used to be Tate Sanborn, but Tate's moved up. So who is our local contact for
His replacement is Captain Joey Rosari. He's currently the District 2 captain, which is the Wesley Chapel, Dade City, Zephyr Hills, pretty much the east side of the county, between Hillsborough County and will be Lakeland and Hernando.
Okay. Can we have a cell number?
I can give you the number for the district office, not his personal.
No, I'm going to need his personal cell. I'll get it later. No, it's very important that our businesses have connections within the sheriff's department. And just a little plug for the department, as soon as COVID started really ramping up, Sheriff Naco put together a weekly call. Some of them were 10 minutes, some of them were 30, 40 minutes. But it was a group of business leaders so that we could all have a very similar conversation each and every week to hear what was going on within the sheriff's department as to issues coming through by COVID. Some very interesting things were happening. There were loiterers at like the CVS and Walgreens casing out the delivery of the prescription drugs.
Right.
There were, so all sorts of things. The protecting of our electric grid became part of the priority from the sheriff's department. So had I not been on those calls, I would not have had the opportunity to be on the lookout and share that information with the business community as it was pertinent to them. So please take that message back, that was extraordinarily helpful. And we've got a private Facebook page that we can, or it's a blog, I think, where we can go in and just check and see what's going on. I do want to ask Emily, she is in the shops at Wiregrass, and sometimes they have a little bit of a different scenario. Emily, are you guys, how are you? Is there anything that the sheriff's department can do for you?
Well, as you know, the shops at Wiregrass does have private security. And since the whole coronavirus thing, it really, like people and criminal activity, really, I haven't seen much of that physically. The only thing I have seen kind of an uptick in is like credit card fraud, just because, you know, with the whole social distancing, we're doing a lot of curbside pickup without maybe verifying IDs and stuff, just because it's a little impractical at the moment. But I don't really, I kind of worked that through our credit card company. I don't know really what the sheriff's office, is capable of like providing as far as that goes.
Well, are you there?
Yes, she's still here.
Yes.
Yeah, so my office is here at Wiregrass, coincidentally, Emily. The substation.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. It's on the other end, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm here. I can be here as much as needed, even if just for presence. I have been making some inroads with Victoria's Secrets and their loss prevention. Not particularly happy about how they do business by way of that. I'm just not okay with people victimizing other people, flatly said. So whatever the mall is willing to do with the sheriff's office to partner in an effort to prevent that, both here and at the outlets, right? Because prior to this COVID thing, there was a lot of this place was kind of like an open door, right? And you can see why the sheriff's office would have an issue with that. But we are here, and as I said, the sky's the limit. Unfortunately, a lot of times corporations such as Victoria's Secrets are tied in terms of, their hands are tied in terms of what staff is allowed to and not allowed to do. But as I did tell the manager there, you kind of got to operate in the gray a little bit, because it's just not okay for people to come into the mall and steal and have this county be just a stop on 75 where there people are being victimized and theft is just rampant. All right. So it's ongoing, but let's continue to discuss that and look at how we can mitigate that moving forward.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So with that in the credit card fraud, if we know that we've had a fraud, should we call the non-emergency line to get that process started, or?
Yeah, I would call the non-emergency line. If if it's, you know, something that happened, or come over here, stop by the substation here. I'm here. As soon as this COVID thing blows over, there's a desk officer that's here to handle that as well, and a property crimes detective who's assigned specifically to handle those calls. But again, its success hinges highly on the sharing of information, you know, and making those phone calls on the spot. I mean, I've had the manager of Victoria's Secrets call and say, "Hey, we've got this group here. They're here now." And, you know, I've made phone calls to local deputies who are close by and say, "Hey, stop by Victoria's Secrets. There are people there. This is what's going on," right? Because I'm on the other side of town. It all hinges heavily on how quickly we share information. That's key.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Yes, Emily, absolutely.
And so that's one of the reasons why we host this event, and is so that we can share information and we can collectively be stronger together. And so it's always important that the hotels, I know that each hotel, they have great relationships here in our community, and with the Florida Sports Coast, just sharing information along the way. And here at the chamber, when we find out things, we like to share it as well. Gabby, is there anything on your guys' end that you wish to talk about with CORPORAL?
Well, I'm so happy this program is going to be available to many local businesses. We haven't heard of anything in happening other than what I've heard from you guys. We are currently open. This week we are working remotely due to certain situations like health-wise that happen, but we all are open to the public, available to our partners via phone or email or our social media. And tomorrow we're gonna be having the TDC meeting, the Tourist Development Council meeting. If you guys would like to participate, please let me know, because we can send you the invite. It's gonna be a virtual one.
Very good, thank you. Corporal, anybody else on your team want to chime in with anything that we didn't cover? Melissa wants to speak real quick.
Hope, I sent you a picture if you can show it.
So you sent it on my phone, so I'm going to have to do it like.
If you don't have one of these, get them now. There we go. It's the Business Crime Prevention sticker. It gives the criminals just an idea. Hey, by the way, they are working with the sheriff's office, so you might want to pick another business or another thing to do.
Very good. And how long does that typically take for you to come out and do that for a business?
As soon as they call, I'd be there.
Well, how long does it take while you're here? Depends.
2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
2 minutes. It's very quick. Very quick.
Awesome. So there's really no excuse why more than 144 businesses shouldn't be in this program.
No, we're looking to double it by the end of this call.
Okay. Well, I don't have 144 people on the call, but we are recording. And over the last few weeks, I have gotten a substantial Facebook following. So I'll share it. We'll see. Maybe by the end of the week. Can you give me to the end of the week?
That's realistic. Thank you.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, comments, or concerns, we can definitely wrap up. And thank you, Bryan, so much for everything that you guys have done throughout this as you continue to keep our businesses safe. Businesses are the heartbeat of our community, large, small. We're all in this together. We're going to get through it together. And I think partnership with the Sheriff's Department is of the utmost importance for all of us in business. So I thank you and folks from your team, Jason and Nick, for being on the call with us. And with that, I will stop our recording and let you guys all go get some lunch and have a great day.
Thank you, Hope. Take care.
Thank you.